Hey, I'm Andrew Hales. Welcome to another edition of Chatting With. Today I'm here with Peter.
Hello.
How's
it going?
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me.
The Reiki Master.
Yeah. I have been a Reiki Master for about 2 years now.
Okay. What got you into it?
So I had a spiritual awakening in 2015, and the three things happened to me at the same time. I found Kundalini Yoga. I found out what that was, which I can mention briefly. I also found out what a twin flame was, which a lot of people might not know, but it's basically the other half of your soul. It's somebody that completely completes you. And you meet them and you're just like, I don't know what it is, but this person is just someone that
As a girlfriend.
I can't live without. Yeah.
Okay.
A girlfriend, yeah. So,
Wow.
And then the third thing was I had a near-death experience. I was training to be a kayak guide on one of the rivers there. And the kayaks were like these tiny little inflatable boats, and they just kind of threw me in one. And they were like, all right, it's a grade 3 rapid and you'll be fine, you can go with one of the other experienced guides.
Yeah.
And I almost fell out. Like I thought I was going to just bash my head into the rocks. And so all that happened within a few days of each other. And then I had what's called a Kundalini awakening. So around our sacrum, which is in between our pelvis, the bone right there, it's believed that there's an energy wrapped around there, and the energy travels up your spine, like kind of like a DNA helix, and it goes around all your 7 chakras, which chakras are your energy points in your body. In yoga, it's very prevalent to talk about chakras. So they'll say like, my root chakra is out of balance today. So, or they'll say I'm really hanging out on my crown chakra, So we have 7 chakras, and each chakra is aligned with an endocrine gland.
Okay.
So it's like an energy point in your body, and those energy points can get closed off, or they can get out of balance, and they rotate. Depending on the person, most people rotate clockwise, some people counterclockwise. But some of them just, like if you're paralyzed, for example, you just won't be open. Like my mom's paralyzed, and so she only has like her top chakras activated. So basically, in Reiki, you work with the highest chakra.
Okay.
So in order to become a Reiki. And the way that it works is that another master has to attune you. So what that means is they do a practice to open up your crown chakra, and then that allows for that energy to flow into you. The majority of people, I would say almost everybody, has Reiki already in them. So if you felt like you wanted to help somebody and you put your hands on them, you would feel them get warm. Like if your intention was to help this person with your hands, and you felt the energy flowing out of your hands, it would happen. But with a Reiki master, what they do is they open that crown chakra up for you. It allows that Reiki to come into your body, and then it comes out of your body, out of your palms, out of both palms, out of the bottoms of your feet, and out of your eyes when you're really advanced. So originally, Reiki was founded in Japan by a man named Dr. Usui. And he wanted to basically find a way to help people with the use of his hands. And some people believe that the Buddha was able to do this, and then later on Jesus. And so he wanted to tap back into that. He wanted to find a way to help people without draining his own energy, but with the use of just his body. So he went up into the mountains in Japan and he meditated for 21 days, and after the 21st day he was given these symbols in his mind. He just saw these symbols, right? So when he was so then he knew that this was something. This was what he was looking for. And when he came down from the mountains, he went to a local village and somebody was injured, right? And he put his hands on her and it like completely alleviated her pain. And then he went on and he learned that the energy was coming not only out of his palms, but also out of his feet and out of his eyes. And so there was, I think there was a plague at that time. And so a lot of people were really suffering, you know? And so he would actually treat 5 people at one time. One on each hand, one on each foot, and then one with his eyes. So that was what a lot of people believe was the first Reiki,
yeah.
but like the term Reiki. Before that, there was Reiki, but it wasn't called that. You can use it on plants. Like you could do an experiment. You could do Reiki to a plant, and then do one without the plant, and without the Reiki, and it'll grow much more full and more green. And I mean, there's no contraindications to Reiki, so you could do it to anything or anyone.
Huh.
So
does it always work?
So the way that it works is it goes to where it needs to go first. So our bodies hold emotions, right? Like, let's say you're in a car accident, right? And you put your arm up before like the car got hit, right? You're not gonna go to a psychologist and talk about how you put your arm up and got into a car crash, right? Most people don't, right? They just basically don't do anything about it. They just hold those emotions, and we do that. All of us do it all the time. Most of us don't go to psychologists. No,
I mean, like people with PTSD and trauma,
they will, but like the majority of people aren't working through their emotions, you know?
Right, yeah.
So, and the point I'm trying to make is that your emotions are, a lot of them are held in your body.
What do you say to the skeptics that say, I mean, it's pseudoscience, that it's the science community kind of regards it as false, right?
Yeah, and there are being studies done with it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're basically, what I've come to learn in my path is that everything is about intention. So if you set your intention to healing someone, let's say, like that's what your intention is, and you go into the room and you're like, all right, I'm here to help this person. So you're like holding the space for that person to allow that energy to come into them. Mm-hmm. So you're more so holding that space, you know, and with Reiki, it can be hands-on or it can be hovering. So, and it can also be long distance. So the way that long distance works, you get that when you learn the symbols as a Reiki level 2.
Okay.
You're able to send it long distance. So
that sounds
I know it sounds trippy. So here's a little experiment I wanted to talk about before I get into that. So it all has to do with our common consciousness as people. So there was a study done, right? They had 100 monkeys and they placed them on different islands, and they dropped off sweet potatoes for them in a box. And they were dirty, they weren't washed or anything. So they would drop off these sweet potatoes for these monkeys. And these monkeys, the older monkeys, they would take the sweet potatoes and start eating them, and they would get sick, right? So then the younger monkeys started washing them, and they didn't get sick anymore. So after a certain amount of young monkeys started washing them, like the older monkeys started doing it too. They saw they weren't getting sick. And then after a certain number of monkeys started washing him, let's say 51 out of 100, right? Whatever that threshold was. All the monkeys on the island started washing him. And not only on the one island, but on all of the islands that they had no interaction with each other. So that just shows that common consciousness that we have as individuals.
Parallel thinking.
That like connects us all, you know?
Yeah.
Here's another experiment that just came to mind with Reiki. So it relates to it, right? So you can have, they did a study with a bunch of little glasses of water, right? And on each little glass they wrote a different word. So some of them were really positive, some of them were really negative. Some wrote like love and affection and, you know, smiling. And then the other ones were like hate and fear and anxiety. And so when they froze the water after like a week of people just looking at them, not interacting with them in any way, the ones that were positive emotions froze into these intricate, amazing, like almost like snowflakes, you know, like they were just so intricate and beautiful under the microscope. And then like the ones that were negative, they were all contorted and like out of whack and just like totally different.
Interesting.
So
I've also heard something else about like saying like I love you to a plant.
Yeah, there was that study too. And they had the kids with saying I love you to the plant, the other one was getting bullied.
Yeah.
And the I love you one just got twice the size, the other one was like drooping.
It's crazy.
So like with Reiki, you know you're coming in with that mindset of whatever you want to do with it. Let's say I want to make this water like as pure as it could be for me to drink.
Okay.
So I would Reiki it because...
Do you Reiki your food?
I do, yeah. So especially if I go out. So if I go out and somebody's having a really bad day, they're making my food, they're putting that energy into that food, just like you would into the water, right? So when that food comes to me, I eat that food, now I'm in a bad mood. And I don't know why, right? But if I were to Reiki it and have the intention like this, I'm clearing this food of any negative energy, this is like for my highest good, this food is to nourish me, then that's what it does.
What if I brought you some pizza and I told you to Reiki the gluten out of it?
Yeah, you can't do that.
Why can't you do that?
Because that's already like part of it, you know, like that's already the molecular compound of it. But I'm talking about the energy, right? So like,
but you can filter water.
It's not so much filtered, but it'll be the minerals in it and everything will be of a help to you. It's hard to explain.
That sounds a lot like placebo. Right?
Yeah. I mean, it could be, but you like just like with the plants, you know, you see it. You know, you can see that there's a shift. It's been scientifically proven that your soul leaves your body when you die. I think it weighs 21 grams or something like that. So they've weighed people after they die and they're 21 grams less.
Yeah.
So that soul leaves their body. So if you think about how this body that we're in is just a vessel for your soul, then
temple.
It becomes easier to grasp some of these things, right?
Yeah.
So if you think about how at the very essence of like every cell when it's broken down, you break down every cell to the atoms, right? Then when you break down the atoms, it's just a vibration.
Yeah.
And so that's why music affects us so much. Most people, let's say you get angry, right? Somebody says something to you on the street, flicks you off, whatever they do. And you're just like, oh my God, I'm so angry, right? So what actually I've been coming to realize is that person is a reflection of you. So what he did to you is how you're feeling inside. So it's kind of like a mirror. He flicked you off, but really you're just angry inside, but you didn't even realize you were angry. And he showed that to you. So instead of like getting angry at him, you just what I've been trying to do, it's not always easy, trust me, but I try to just feel compassion and love for that person.
Right.
Because they're suffering, you know? And if I see that in them, then that shows that I've already kind of moved through that, whatever emotion that happened. You know what I mean? So that's another clear example of how our mindset just is affected by everything. But so I mean, Reiki can help with that. It can go to the cause of all these problems that we might not even know are happening because it's all subconscious.
If your girlfriend got cancer,
okay,
would you take her to the doctor?
Yes.
Okay, but then you would also perform Reiki.
I would do Reiki, yeah.
You would do Reiki just on top of it.
Yeah, it would be in addition to, yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't just exclude traditional medicine.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah. It's in addition to, and it works on a very subtle level, like on an energetic, subconscious level, because it gets to the root of those problems. The more you tell yourself, this is helping me, this is I'm getting better, I'm not gonna die in 30 days, then it won't happen. Like, you have to really believe it. You can't have any fear. You can't have that block. You have to so it's all about envisioning what you want in your life.
When you have clients, do you legally have to tell them that you're not a doctor? And
you sign a waiver saying that
it's alternative medicine.
Yeah, it's an alternative medicine. This isn't any
cool.
Yeah, it's gonna help you in the way that it needs to help you.
What's like the craziest client you've had? Or the most the biggest or the most interesting story experience?
The most interesting story is with one of my best friends. She called me up and she said, my friend is starting to get paralyzed on the one side of her body. So I don't usually tell people this story, but since you want to know the most intense one, I'll tell you. So I went to the hospital where she was. She started getting numb on the one side, and I went in there and I cleared out the space. I had her best friend hold the space, which is she's consciously thinking about not allowing anything but the healing to happen in that area. So she's just envisioning like a bubble of nothing penetrating through, just so that I can really focus on just her, on the patient. So I did Reiki on her, and I do another modality, which is called integrated energy therapy. So I did both of those. And the integrated energy therapy works with the aura of the patient. So I worked through her aura, and then I did Reiki on her, and and then she held her friend held the space while I was doing that, and then I left. I was there for an hour.
What's hold the space? Like, she's just like...
No, you don't need to use your hands. You could just think about it.
Okay.
Just thinking about, like at a concert, when like somebody performs, they're holding that space for all those people so that they can experience everything as a unit, right? Like have a good time.
All right.
So that's like holding the space.
Yeah.
So so then I left, and then I didn't talk to her. I checked in on her a couple of times, and then a month later I walk into Trader Joe's, and there she is. She's standing there. She's walking, and nothing going on. And I asked her, like, that's amazing, like, what happened? She's like, since you did the treatment on me, I slowly started moving a little more. I got out of the hospital, started walking every day with my mom, and here I am. So I allowed her to believe that she doesn't have to live that life that she was starting to believe she was going to become. And I cleared out any blockages that she had from that, and that allowed her to live the life that she really wanted.
Cleared out the blockages by massaging her. What did you do?
So just hovering my hand and allowing that Reiki energy to flow into her, into those chakras.
The chakras are like right here, right?
Yeah, they go from your sex organs all the way up to the top of your head.
Okay. Do you believe it? Do you know anything about NoFap?
Yeah.
Like semen retention.
Yeah.
Is there anything related? Like is that?
Yes, it's related.
Maintain your chi.
So yeah, because there's so much getting put into creating just one drop of that, and there's so many minerals and nutrients in that drop, after I think 7 days you will feel a big shift. If you don't have any ejaculation for 7 days,
mm-hmm.
you will feel a shift. And then the longer you wait, the more your body starts reabsorbing those minerals.
Wow.
And then there was like a meme on Instagram, and it was like after 100 days you become like godlike, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I really believe that, and I feel that.
Wow.
I can feel that after 7 days, I have more energy. I'm ready to go, and it's a big problem for a lot of men.
Yeah.
And there's no coincidence that porn's free.
Yeah.
And I feel so lethargic after like tired and groggy, and I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere and do anything after after you do it. But there are ways of men having like an orgasm without ejaculating. There's also a guy, I forget his name right now, but he talks about the $1 million point. It's right in front of your rectum.
Mm-hmm.
And if you push on that point, it allows you to develop that orgasm.
Wow.
So if people look it up, they'll be able to find it.
Okay.
There's I'm just starting to learn about that.
There's Carezza. You heard of Carezza?
No.
Oh, that's like sex with a partner and neither of you orgasm.
Yeah, there's also tantric sex.
Tantra, yeah.
Yeah, so there's all types of books about that, and then there's tantric sex, like learning the orgasm without.
So you do believe in semen retention and only using it when you want to make a baby?
Well, I mean, the yogis believe that you should have an ejaculation once a month.
Wow.
That's like a healthy time for men. Yeah.
I didn't know they believe that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that they do that are, but that's, one yogi in particular, the one that I follow, his name's Yogi Bhajan. He talked about that.
Okay.
He's the one that taught Kundalini yoga to America. But he talks about how men should have sex once a month. I mean, you can have sex, but you shouldn't ejaculate only once a month. So if you do that, you will stand in your power, and you will have a much more productive life, and you will be able to manifest things into your life. I've had 4 students so far, and some of them have headaches after I attune them. Some of them need to rest for a couple of days.
Attune them like you're doing this around their...
There's a ceremony that happens.
Okay.
Where, I mean, that's part of becoming a master. So when you become a master, you learn the ceremony.
Is it kind of sacred? Like you can't talk about it?
Yeah, it's a sacred ceremony. And the symbols are sacred too. So you learn them as a level 2, and they were actually handed down. They would write them out, and then they would burn them.
Wow.
So they were that sacred. Like you weren't supposed to ever write them anywhere.
So you're not going to tell me?
No. not unless you want to become a Reiki, and I'd be glad to do that for you.
This sounds a little spooky. You know what I mean?
No, I mean it's not. It's not. It's a really positive thing. It's just meant to help people, and and that's what I'm here to do.
So thank you for this gift.
Yeah, so that's the Labradorite. It's a really beautiful crystal.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of healing properties. You can look them up easily, which I'll do right now. I was going to do that before, but
should I hold it when I meditate?
You could do whatever feels right for you. Some people hold it. Some people sleep with it under their pillow. All crystals have properties, and so Labradorite is a very protective against negative energies. It's balancing, it's strengthening, and protecting the aura and sealing the aura from energy leaks. It's a stone of transformation and change. It enhances the strength of the will and feelings of inner worth.
Great.
I think you were talking about that in one of your videos.
Yeah.
So I felt that, I felt that intuitively when I looked at my crystals that one was for you, even though it used to be one of my favorite pieces. But I don't get attached to crystals, because when they need to leave, they kind of let it be known.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Let us know what you think in the comments about Reiki. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing. I'll see you next week.